Give me a couple of examples of people who are amongst your membership who you think are kind of interesting.
Okay, so we've got a couple of mums. They have kind of 7 kids between them, no nannies. They're full-time mums, but they've set up a fashion company which is initially developing waterproof shoes for children, basically. What they did is they spotted that there was a gap in the market with their kids, that they'd wear wellies, but when they got to school they'd have to take them off and then they'd have to store them, and so what they've got are these very kind of flexible, waterproof, exactly, and you can fold them down and they wrap into a bag, and the school loves them and the kids love them because they can still climb and run and do all the things that kids do, and they've been quite successful to an extent so far. They've sold into Russell and Bromley. They've sold into John Lewis, and they've got an online shop.
These are the larger department stores.
Exactly, and they seem to be doing okay for themselves. But the challenge as women, in terms of scaling up their business, was getting access to VC funding. And what they said was that actually, most of the VCs they spoke to were saying, well, look, actually, investing in mums is just not what we do. I mean, 1 in 1,000, I think. Investments for a mainstream VC goes to a kind of mum who's an entrepreneur. So it's an area where we felt that there was a gap. That we could perhaps.
So give me a contrasting example to that one.
So we've got. I was working late one night and I walked across the Carnaby Street and I grabbed myself a coffee and a sandwich, and I was just coming back and I heard this kid busking on the street, and I passed him by and I thought, well, I'm not going to stop. But halfway down the street there was still something nagging, so I went back and I spoke to him, and we're now looking to work with him. Now he's 19, Amy and Rainbow are kind of in their early 30s. He's 19, just out of school, college, and comes from a very different kind of background in many ways, but equally as talented. But it's going to take a minute to refine what he does, if that makes sense. I think with Splats, they pretty much need a bit of refining, but we think they're going to be pretty bankable quite quickly. Whereas with K Remedy, this artist, it could easily take us 18 months, 2 years to get him to where he needs to be in order, to either sign into a record company or release his record ourselves.